Now that you've got box 1 unpacked, you should lay your boards out in this fashion. The boards are numbered and they should go in the order of 1, the trim, 2, the header, 3, the modesty panel, 4, the headboard, 5, the footer, 6, the left vertical, and 7, the right vertical. When laid out on the floor, the arm of the mechanism should be on the inside of the board. That's how you know that it's in the right position. If it's on the outside, you know you have to swap them. Next, you're going to install the 6 dowel rods, 20 KD locks, and 20 KD pins. For the KD pins and locks, only use a screwdriver to tighten them. First, I'm going to install all the dowel rods at the top and bottom of both verticals. I'm going to use a hammer to gently tap them into place. Next is the 20 KD pins. I'm going to be using a standard Phillips head screwdriver to tighten them. In order to ensure that the KD pins go in square, it's recommended to tighten them first by hand and then use a screwdriver to finish driving in the rest of the way. It is not recommended to use a drill in case the threading is off. With all KD pins and dowels in place, there should be 2 dowels and 2 KD pins at the top of each vertical, as well as 4 more KD pins near the bottom and 1 dowel at the bottom. There should be 4 KD pins across the header as well as 4 across the trim for a total of 20 KD pins and 6 dowels. Next, flip over all interior boards except for the trim to expose where the KD locks are supposed to go. You'll notice there's an arrow pointing in this direction in all the KD locks. This is the arrow that should be pointed towards the nearest edge when you place it in the slots. Now that all KD pins, KD locks, and dowel rods are in place, you're ready to begin assembling the structure. The first step would be to attach the trim to the headboard. It should slide right into place. Next, you'll want to tighten up the KD locks clockwise. As you can see, on the header there's KD locks on one side and KD pins on the other. The KD locks face upwards when the board is installed, and the KD pins face downwards. For the trim, you want the longest section to be hanging downwards on the sides of the KD pins, as shown. Rotate the header assembly 180 degrees so that the KD locks are facing outwards and the trim is on the ground. Next, start assembling the different pieces. The KD pins and dowel rods should slide easily into the slots. On the footer, make sure that the KD locks are facing downwards. When installing the headboard, be sure to have the KD locks facing upwards. At this point, with the help of someone else, install the last vertical to finish completing this part of the structure. Now that the pieces are in place, make sure all the pieces are pressed together tightly, and then tighten the KD locks with a screwdriver clockwise. This will secure the shape of the structure. Next, we're going to be installing the wall mount strut. To do so, we'll need the wall mount strut from package 4, a cordless drill, and a package of 3/4 inch screws. The correct way to mount the wall mount strut is for the long end to be facing down along the vertical sides. After ensuring that your wall mount strut is flush with the edge and is oriented the correct way, mount it using your 3/4 inch screws very gently. In addition to the 4 3/4 inch screws, you will need 4 across the top of the header. Place each screw near the location of each KD pin. Now we have attached the wall mount strut to the left vertical, the header, and the right vertical. Each is secured with 4 3/4 inch screws. Using a stud finder, locate and mark the studs in your wall. You need at least 3. These are the locations where the cabinet will be secured to the wall. Finally, tighten the feet into place by hand. This is the last step before lifting the structure up against the wall. After positioning the base of the cabinet 19 inches away from the wall, it is time to lift it into position. Do so by firmly gripping the wall strut, lifting up, and then pushing it into position. Before fastening the cabinet to the wall, use a level to ensure that the verticals are vertical. Additionally, if your room has trim or molding along the floor, you'll want to use shims to move the structure out so that it's still parallel with the wall. Or an easier solution might be to cut the trim. Ensuring that you screw into the studs in the wall, secure the wall strut to the wall with the provided screws. When installing the modesty panel, a right angle screwdriver will be used to tighten the KD locks that are located on the back side. First, slide the modesty panel into place. If this tool isn't available to you, you can attach the modesty panel with the screws facing outwards using a regular screwdriver.